Hi guys, okay, so if you guys watched my About Me video, then you would know that I was previously married and to what I described my childhood sweetheart, and then I got divorced, and then obviously I met my late husband who then passed away. And then the one after that, and the one after that, no, I'm joking. This is a quick video to try and explain to you why I got divorced without really explaining it, if that makes sense. I sound a bit crazy, right? Okay, basically, in a nutshell, what you might not know is I've got a very good relationship with my ex-husband's family, so with my ex-in-laws, so to speak, and I've had it for many years. They're practically family to me, so not want to do anything that's going to upset them or hurt them. So whilst you guys know my privacy is zero and I'm very, very public, I have to respect other people's privacy, especially because he's not really anonymous. Like, a lot of people from the community, like, obviously know I was married to him, so it's whatever I talk about, I can't really go into detail about certain, like, about any, you know, happenings within the marriage. I can't really go into that much detail because people will have a face to the detail. Whereas obviously with my breakup video, no one really saw who the guy was. So I could have literally talked shit and said the truth all day in line, detailed everything. It wouldn't really matter. And what I'm going to focus on is trying to give you the very general reason, in the hope that many people might be able to relate compared to their own situations. And obviously, like, that's what I would have done, basically, or that's what I would have not done, rather. But anyway, let's just get on with it. So yeah, off topic actually. Do you know, like, basically, that guy that I was seeing was doing something for me. He obviously took upon himself to do something for me, work related, and it was a task or a thing that he suggested that we do, and I was like, okay, yeah, whatever, let's just do it. I'm just always like, whatever, let's just do it. So he's like, yeah, I'll do it for you, blah, 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 and he was doing it, he did it, and then when it came time to obviously end it, and he was just like being so nice and everything, when it came, like, when it's come to the end now, yeah, I mean, yeah, I know I've made that video and it's pissed him off probably, but he's been so difficult, like an actual prick. Stop replying back to my messages. All I'm messaging him about is to put the thing in my name, the thing that needs to be put in my name. That's all I want. Like, I don't want anything else. And all of a sudden, after the video came out, I stopped replying. I had to, like, stick in a couple of threats in there. Like, bitch, I got photos. No, I'm joking. Am I? I don't know. Am I? Joke. What I was saying is I hate guys that act so nice and generous and, like, and considerate and caring when they're trying to get with you. But then when you've already completely X'd them out, which is what my video did. My video, up until my video, he might have still thought there was a chance because he still came over, wants to kind of do the handover process of what I needed done. And once the video came out, literally won't even open my WhatsApp. So annoying. I wish I was like chasing him, trying to call him, and like, this is what he was doing, he was ignoring me. And it's not even that. All my messages are, have you done it yet? Have you done it? Have you done it yet? Like, do you know what? I mess about with lots of stuff, but don't mess about with someone's, like, work. Like, what the hell? That's just so messed up. So anyway, I'm just, do you know, stuff like that just makes me even more, like, so glad I did what I did. Because, like, obviously I would not have ever seen the side of him if we stayed together. And it's not about, like, oh yeah, you wouldn't see it because obviously you're together. No, I want to know this about people. I want to know if they have that in them. Because I would not want to be with someone like that. Because that person could then treat someone else like that, and you're going to be with him. Like, you're going to think, what the fuck? Like, I'm not signed up for this shit. Or just because you don't have any kind of, like, goal with the person, that's it, you're going to treat them like shit, like they're still a human being. Like, what the hell? Anyway, so that's just off topic, sorry. Back to the, that's other now. But yeah, so without further ado, this is my story. So, long story short, I met my childhood sweetheart. When he was 16, I was 16. We were verging on 17. It was a month before his birthday. And that's all I remember. I remember it was a month before his birthday. But yeah, we met during these classes, you know, like, I don't know if anyone else used to do this, but when I was in like sort of like high school, they used to have like little tuition lessons. Like Arabs used to do it, like, and you kind of like, I know this is really messed up, but we also used to have like Quran lessons and stuff, and we used to go because it was because I used to go to an all girls school, and it was the only time we got to see the species of the opposite sex. Males. It sounds so bad, but yeah, so we literally signed up to every possible thing, Deen, any lesson, and you know, and it was so shocking at the time because they always used to do segregated like Quran lessons, segregated Deen lessons. All of a sudden this mosque decided to do like mixed ones, and it was my local mosque, and I was like, sign me up, bitch. No, I'm joking. It wasn't for that. I swear to God it wasn't for that. But obviously, okay, the only difference is we were very motivated to go every week, i.e. in comparison to normal school where you're just not. Or normal tuition where you're just like not looking forward to it. We were very, very motivated to go every week and just look the part. So I kind of met him through tuition. Before that, it was just really long. This is a long story, but there was it was like kind of MSN days. So it was MSN, this like discussion. It was MSN groups, you know, MSN groups. That's what it was. And there was one of the groups was called Iraqi Youth, and like all these it was our like place to kind of hang out, like on the D-Lo, because we're not allowed to actually hang out with like, you know, the guys and stuff like that. It was me and my friends, and it's quite funny actually because we're friends within that group that also ended up like, you know, getting together and getting married, like etc etc. So but yeah, so it was like not a bad thing at all. It was very, very nice and innocent. It was very innocent back in our day. So yeah, so we were talking there, and obviously just messaging. I remember we were messaging for a good 3 months before the first phone call, which is crazy. And the first phone call only happened because it was an argument. Thumbs are going to overdrive. This needs to be a call. And so I told them to call me, and pay-as-you-go days. And no, I'm joking. But yeah, so after this is how slow things went. Can you see, like, I literally went from one extreme to the other. Now I do like marriages in 10 days, and then over there it was like 3 months messaging, and then it developed into phone call. Then 2 months later, so like 5 months, I met this guy. But anyway, so yeah, so we had our first phone call after 3 months. I remember specifically after a month, I gave him the what, like even when I was like 16, 17, I was on my game with this shit. So I gave him the talk, like, what are we? Basically, all I know is after discussions, a month in, we basically had said, I'm going to marry you, you're going to marry me. Which obviously it's stupid for a girl to think, oh, the 17-year-old boy's going to marry me, and he promised he's going to marry me, he's going to stick to his word. But, you know when you know, you just know. And this person was a decent person from a decent family. I don't know why he was looking at me. So we just literally got together. He basically became my best friend, and we had like a group of, as we got older, we got like a group of friends, and that became our clique, and we used to go like on little trips together. Like honestly, it was one of the best times of my life. I had so much fun. Like this is like uni days. We used to have like a mixed group. We used to all go like centre parks, and like we used to like camping basically, and but camping like without the tents, like because allowed tents. Because like insects and shit, like cabins, and like we'll take our shishas, and like I remember once we did the Ouija board. Like it was just so much fun. Like, you know how like people, like I don't know, like most people have like spring break. That was my halal version of spring break. I just had like the time of my life, honestly. And obviously because we were quite careless, because you know when you tell yourself, or within a relationship, you're like, this guy is the guy I'm going to marry, and the guy is like, this girl's the girl I'm going to marry. Like you kind of become careless with who sees you out. We got caught once or twice outside. Like there's no such thing for like in our culture that there's a a relationship that young that's going to materialize into a marriage. So obviously my mum was skeptical and like just obviously wasn't going to believe it. And I remember once, anyway, I don't want to go, like I said, I don't want to go into detail, you know, I'm going to respect the privacy of my ex-husband, but it was like, basically, like, long story short, he was a very, very decent guy. Like, he just stood by the whole thing. Like, he was just like, no, I'm marrying this girl, like, I don't care. So we ended up getting sorry, I don't know what's happening with myself. So pressure was on because obviously more and more people were finding out, so I was like nagging on him, like, when we're going to do the engagement, we need to get engaged, like, because everyone's finding out. Mom was getting, like, giving me a hard time, blah blah blah. So we did the shadow bed. I told you, like, last time, it's literally just juice, and like, just like the husband's family come over and they're like, you know, we want your daughter, and they agree, and like we're there for each other, and then we'll do the nikah soon. That's all it is. I made that like an event, like I had a party. Like, at that time, you don't, like, it's just not something that you have a party for. How can I explain it? It's like a half birthday. You just don't have a birthday for your half birthday. You won't have a birthday at like 20 and then one at 20 and a half. Like, you just don't do it. So that's what it was. But I was like, you know, I was just like, you know, when you're waiting, you're in this relationship, you're just waiting for it to turn into something official. So me, I just like couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, yes, in your faces, you community bitches. Like, y'all thought I was a hoe, now I'm a married hoe. But yeah, so I was just so excited. I just wanted to scream on the rooftop. So I made like myself a little party for it, like an event for it. And yeah, that happened. A year later, we had done a car. A year and a half later, we finally got married. The problem, and again, I'm not going into like, I'm just going to talk generally here, but some people prefer friendship relationships, which is me, which was what I explained before, and some people just prefer like husband, and then my friends are separate. With the problem with the friendship relationships, if you're out of like the marriage, and because you're young as well, if you're out of the whole marriage kind of hierarchy, you kind of don't know your role. I'm speaking on my half. I didn't really know my own role in the marriage. So whilst I loved him and I didn't really understand my role, I understood it, but I couldn't warm to it, the role of being this like wife, housewife, and you know, it was very, very difficult for me to grasp because I spent like years, you know, with this person, supposedly the love of my life, like going out and we were having fun, like there were no responsibilities, and when the responsibilities set in, I just found it a bit difficult to kind of adjust. So I obviously started eating, like, I just started making myself unhappy kind of thing, and I started eating away. You know, when something, you just don't, like, it's not something that's bothering you, you just start to kind of focus on it more than anything. You know, where you have like normal issues between man and wife, I wasn't mature enough at the time to kind of like, you know, deal with them. So I just started like counting them as, oh, this is another reason why, this is another reason why. So it kind of started to build up in my own head, and it got to this point where, you know, you start to make something that isn't negative so negative that you start to think, oh, maybe the grass is green on the other side, maybe I can get better, maybe this person's the right person for me. And it's literally all shit you've just chatted to yourself in your head. Like, it was just like loads of crock of shit. I just wanted to justify me being a spoiled brat, me not wanting to like compromise and actually, you know, take a couple of duties as a wife. And what I found myself is, you know, with your normal arguments here and there, they just escalated for no reason, because I was not willing to compromise and like solve them, resolve them, and know my place. Just literally just the bare basics of know my place in the marriage. Like, I was not acting like a wife. I was thinking I was this, and I am an equal. I'm not saying I'm not an equal. Obviously every woman is an equal, but it's an equal, but it's not in that they're, like, it's nice. Like, it's nice to have your husband have the last word, as long as you're with this person who's like a decent and logical person, who's remember, on the same wavelength, unagiing with you. Like, when you're, and that person was. But So that was like the perfect recipe to have that perfect relationship, but I just fucked it up. I just literally, I was just not in that state of I need to be the wife, like I need to, you know, like, you know, it's nice to let the man be the man and the woman be the woman sometimes. It's just kind of, I feel like I think I took away from my femininity in that I was like no, like, which is such a sport brat. Honestly, there's literally nothing more to add to it apart from like a sport brat. And it was literally one of your random arguments that just went too far. And I, as well, I told you guys in the last video, I was going through a midlife crisis. I think that in itself was the midlife crisis kind of also stopped me from actually maturing up, which is what I should have done. I should have just literally bitten the bullet and thought, you know what, I need to stop acting up. I need to work on what this is, because what I had was, I don't want to sound like I'm not over it, because I am, but I'm a logical and I'm a realistic person. And I'm a truthful and honest person, so I'm not going to lie about it. It was the recipe for something very, very perfect. Like, we were literally childhood sweethearts. We used to have so much fun together. We were best friends. Our humour was the same. Everything we wanted to do, it was like everything we wanted to do, we wanted to do together, and we wanted to do the same things. Like, I remember we used to have like, we went and got annual passes. Like, this is like after uni even. We went and got annual passes for like Thorpe Park and Alton Towers, the theme parks basically. We used to literally go every weekend. Like, we were on the same wave. I remember in Ramadan, because we were obsessed with Frappuccinos. He's actually the one that got me into, if you guys follow me on social media, you know I'm obsessed with Frappuccinos. He's actually the one that got me into Frappuccinos. And he's actually the one also that got me into that special crazy concoction of like 6 pumps of this and double triple blended here and etc. So I remember during Ramadan we would like, because we were so obsessed with Frappuccinos, we would literally go, as soon as it's Fitr or just before Fitr, we'd go and buy Frappuccinos to break fast on. And then people out there breaking their fast on dates were like, Frappuccinos, and then we'll eat food. Like, it was like that. Like, you know when you're both like on the same wavelength, it's a random wavelength, but you're both on it together. It was like that. So we just had a really good recipe for a really good, like, amazing marriage. But I feel like I messed it up in that I didn't really give it the patience that I needed. So I let it slip away and turn to shit. I just noticed my makeup is so bad. I literally came home. I've been moving and I literally just came home. And this is the makeup that I had on all day, which is crazy because it looks like shit. Oh, I didn't know. And I thought, you know, let me just quickly film this. It's going to take forever if I don't film it now. I didn't know why I was so brave as to think that I could film it with the makeup that I had on already, because that looks like shit. And also because I'm too blind to actually see how shit it looks when I'm looking at it in the mirror, and it's like, shit, that's really bad. I haven't even brushed my eyelashes. I think the bare minimum I could do is brush my lashes, and I haven't even done that. So, okay, sorry, let me get back to it. You guys have already seen me for like the last how long? 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Anyway, so yeah, it was just literally a case of me not really being mature enough to deal with a marriage at that time, and thinking, this was the main thing, thinking that the grass was green on the other side, which I later found that it was not. I mean, I don't regret anything that happened, because obviously that's what needed to happen for me to be able to then go on and meet my late husband that gave me my beautiful daughter, which I love obviously more than the world, like the best thing that ever happened to me. But at the same time, like, if we look at it as a standalone case, it was not the correct move to make in that situation. Like, if I was advising myself and I didn't know obviously the extra bits of information about my late husband, my daughter, etc., the future, I would say just don't go. Like, freaking act like a woman and like be a wife instead being an asshole. That's what we've done. I mean, I like literally can't really fault anyone or anything. I mean, all I can really bring it back to is the community. I don't want to sound like I always community bash, because I don't. I just always am on the receiving end, and I'm very sensitive to it, of the judgment of the community. I always find that when I do something, everyone's like, oh my god, like, did you hear she got divorced? And then like 5 years later, everyone's doing it and it's normal. Or like when I take off my scarf, oh my gosh, she took off her scarf. 5 years later, all like pretty much so many girls are taking off their scarf. It becomes normal. But I feel like I'm always the first one to do the wrong thing, the wrong thing. So I'm always like there are a million eyes on me, I feel like. And I know that because I hear the shit, like it goes around, obviously. I'm very sensitive to it in that, and just because I'm a very temperamental person, like anyone's comments, people that are around me that I care about, and obviously community, technically it's my community, as in that's what I'm part of. I'm part of that community, so of course something I say is going to affect me, just like if my mom says something to me, or just put me off working. Like I have this thing where if I'm like motivated and I'm like on my ball game with my work, I could have like one argument with my mom. Mom could say one thing to me and it would just throw me off my ball game for like a month. Like there's something not quite right here that I need to maybe fix. I'm thinking about this. I actually need to fix this, but yeah, like, so again, community, like, it was obviously a big part of my life because it's the community that I'm from. It's the one I grew up in. So for them for me to hear things that were being said about me would obviously affect me, and that makes me temperamental. I'm like, you know what, screw this, I'll take my head. Like, it made me like very much like that. Like, I don't want to have to deal with this. Like, very, very kind of not logical. Like, no, maybe they're wrong in how they're acting, but I'm gonna be mature about it. Not me. Like, you know what? You know what, screw it, I'm gonna take off my scarf. It's gonna hurt me, not you, but I'm gonna do it to get my own back. Like, it's just stupid. Obviously, why I was just stupid. That's what allowed me to go on to have my midlife crisis. It was, I don't know how long you guys have been following me for, but I started YouTube videos a very, very long time ago, like 2011. I actually started around the same time as Dina Tokyo, and we had this channel as well called Hijabi's Got Swag, which we did together plus 2 other girls. I was doing these videos. I was very happy, and you know, I've always been insecure about my scarf, but those videos were helping me, like just seeing girls actually look at me as an inspiration for wearing the hijab. That made me feel better about wearing it. Like, actually, you know, maybe even though I'm not comfortable with this, I'm making a difference. I'm making some sort of a difference to someone's life, and that in itself is worth it. And you know, when you glorify something, you just feel better about it. Like, it doesn't become this negative thing that I've got in my head or whatever it was at the time. So I was just so happy doing these videos and like these YouTube videos. And just don't look back on my videos now, please, because they're absolutely like cringe. Like, they are literally the essence of what cringe is, are those videos. I embraced to have a piercing as well. That was the second time I came back. Anyway, my community obviously didn't understand at the time. Now, like, loads of girls like from the community are like on YouTube and whatever. At the time, no one really understood it, and I just thought I was just being like very, very loud and like obnoxious and loose, so to speak. So I got a lot of sort of comment, obviously it put a strain on all my relationships, my relationship with my parents, with my marriage, everything. And it kind of made me feel so claustrophobic and so like constrained that I just wanted to break loose of this shitty community that I was from. That's what I was thinking in my mind at the time. So that's kind of what pushed me more into my midlife crisis, which happened literally a month after I left my husband, which is the worst time to happen, because obviously once you leave, that's when all eyes are on you. You don't want to be messing about during that time. And I was literally like, YOLO, fuck it. Like, that was my mind. Like, I was like, I don't give a shit. I do not give a shit. So what happened was just basically, it was just one of these arguments that I wasn't being a mature adult in. I wasn't being, you know, a good wife in. Just a good spouse, forget wife, a good spouse in. And it literally just escalated. You know, it was like he said, she said, he said, she said, and I was just like, it was just no, it was just reluctancy to compromise from my side. So I just took my stuff and I went to my mum's house. And I think in the time that he was trying to give me space, for me, I just started convincing myself that I was right. You know, oh my god, like, he doesn't love me. Like, if he loved me, then he would have... But he was just giving me space, which a lot of people, you know, people do solve their issues through giving people space. But yeah, it kind of backfired in my case because I need so much attention. I told you guys I need to be inside someone's kidney. I need to be inside my kidney, like, it needs to be like that. For me to be like, okay, yeah, he's okay, like, he loves me a bit. I knew the strain that had been put on my relationship with my mom, with my parents, with my husband, because of like the community on my videos. Like I said, it pushed me more towards this midlife crisis where I was just like, fuck everything, like, I don't want to be part of anything here. I'm just gonna go live my life, like, westernized lifestyle, whatever. I started in that month, like, even like convincing myself more and more that's the right thing for me. And by the end of that month, I was like, I'm 100%, like, I want this divorce. So I asked for a divorce. And it obviously took forever in our communities. They drag it on. They'll marry you in a blink, but they'll divorce you in 17 years. Like, it will take you 17. You might have like 3 kids in that time by the time they divorce you. And I'm not saying this like, oh yeah, you should like rush divorce, fine. But there are people I know, like, that have experienced this, like, literally, like guys cheated on this girl and they're dragging out, yeah, well, you know, there's mediation. The guy isn't giving his wife money for the household or for the kids, and then he's not like literally supporting them, barely. He's not being a responsible thing, and she wants to leave, and they're trying to mediate that. Like seriously? I mean, it's disgusting. Like, it's just so messed up. My divorce took about 4 months to finalise eventually. And yeah, I was in my midlife crisis doing my whatever. That was the first time I took off my scarf, obviously. I took off my scarf straight away. This is what I'm talking about. It was like the worst time to do things like that because all eyes are on me. Like, divorce, obviously, you're a hoe, that's it. You're a stamped hoe, whether you like it or not, you're a hoe. So me taking off my scarf and starting going out and like living this westernized lifestyle was just like, okay, this girl does literally not care. Yeah, I literally did not. Like, I was just like, do you know when you like just come out of your restraints, like, screw you guys, like, screw you guys. I stopped the videos, relating this back to something that's a bit more relatable. A lot of girls, from girls that message me, a lot of them think that they can do better, or the grass is greener on the other side. I always remember the saying, you know, if you think the grass is greener on the other side, it's not, and if it is, it's probably fertilized with bullshit. So yeah, I will always remember that quote. That quote like literally forever sticks in my head. So don't, like, if you're considering divorce or whatever because you think you can do better, that isn't reason to get divorced. Where you have real problems, like your man's cheated on you, I just honestly, like, I'm beyond now. Like, I don't know if you guys realise, but like more recently I've been a bit more like controversial, and not on purpose. It's pretty much me, and it's the me that I've been kind of like censoring for the last 2-3 years because everyone saw me as this, like, in the beginning, obviously not towards the end because, like, oh, I'm gonna get like, yeah, who said you're pious? But like this pious widow with so much sabr and patience that she was able to get, like, which I just literally, I felt like I was being put on a pedestal and I had to literally like stick to that. Like, you know what, like, yeah, my husband died, but I still have really like dark humour. Like, I still I still like to put makeup on. I still enjoy my tattoos. Like, I still have like this out there personality, and I kind of had to hush it for like a good 2 years. And not hush it, I wasn't lying, but I just really toned it down. Because I just know it's just too much for some people. I know this already. Like, generally I know this from my own experience, my own community. Like, I know it's too much sometimes. So, like, people tell me, oh, my husband cheated on me, I caught my husband watching porn. I don't know why people start telling me their problems, but they did. So I caught my husband with like porn on his phone. I caught him texting a girl, and I'm just like trying to like be this highway kind of like bigger person approach. deep down I'm like, bitch, run. Stuff like that, run. Like, there's no man that is worth you. Like, yeah, you know, marriage to maternity land, and you should do it, and you should try and your best to make it work. But not like, if someone's wronged you, there's absolutely no reason to stay in that unhappy. I'm sorry, like, a lot of people might disagree with this. There's no reason to stay unhappy. I mean, there are certain situations, obviously, like, this is not applicable to all situations, but for me, you know, speaking for me, I'm not really a supporter of these marriages where you stay unhappy. I feel like some people even just stay married just to not have to go back to their parents' house. Like it's so messed up. Like, it's just, no, like, you know what, as long as you stick to your deen and you don't let anything compromise that, like, value yourself. You'll get what you think you deserve. And if you don't think you deserve much, you'll end up putting up with a load of shit. Anyway. But yeah, so my divorce story might not be very similar to many people, but it's my personal divorce story, so it might not be very relatable, because like, what other person would be in that situation? Everyone else is more like reasonable, and they compromise, and they already know their roles in the marriage. But yeah, I try to kind of do this without detail, and I know it might be frustrating for many people, but hopefully it will deter some people from making mistakes, and you know, in the future, if someone's thinking about divorce, it might kind of make them think again. I'm genuinely sorry that it's not as open as I normally am. Like, I would be very, very happy if it was just my story, and if the person was anonymous, I'd be very, very happy to go into detail about my life, because I really don't care. But I don't care about being open. But there are some people that don't, like, obviously don't prefer to have their own private lives and not share them, and I have to respect that. Anyway, give me ideas, guys, on what other videos you want to see of me. I've been asked for a couple of videos. I'm gonna do on how to deal with breakup, how to deal with grief specifically video, how I found out my husband died, my labour story. So those are the videos that have been asked of me on my social media accounts. If you have any other ideas, drop them in the comments below. But yeah, bye.